MSW Media.
News with swearing. Daily beans, daily beans. Daily beans, daily beans.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Beans for Friday, September 26, 2025. Today, I don't know how they did it, but Trump's U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia has secured an indictment against Jim Comey for false statements and obstruction of justice. Pete Hegseth, our good friend Pete Hegseth, has summoned top generals and admirals to an urgent in-person meeting on the eve of a looming government shutdown with no explanation whatsoever. The White House is scrambling to quash the Epstein files discharge petition. Porn addict and supreme bigot Ryan Walters is resigning as Oklahoma school superintendent. Yay. The Justice Department is pushing for an investigation into the Soros Foundation, and the White House tells government agencies to prepare for mass layoffs in the event of a government shutdown. I'm Allison Gill.
And I'm Dana Goldberg.
See everybody, see everyone. I promised Dana would be back.
I promised I'm back. I'm always coming back. I shouldn't say always. One day. Maybe there's a day in the next 40 years I won't be back, but I'm back. I'm back. Thank you for missing me. And thanks for putting a little good news in for me. I don't necessarily buy that he's not going to be going somewhere else or running for another position, but thank God Ryan Walters is resigning as of right now from the Oklahoma school superintendent. Thank God.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, yes, the position that he's taking is abhorrent and awful, and we'll talk about that, but
yep.
Bye.
He's still, I just wish he was not able to be in any sort of position of power at all.
Yeah, agreed. Also, it's Friday on the Daily Beans, which means it's Fugelsang Friday. Our friend John Fugelsang, who just did an appearance on The Daily Show for his New York Times bestseller, Separation of Church and Hate, is going to come slum it with us, Leguminati.
Right on. He's killing it.
He is. It was such a good interview. If you get a chance to watch Fugelsang on The Daily Show, you won't regret it. I'm sure there's clips out there that you can watch on YouTube or whatever. Also, Trump signed an executive order today to use the whole of government to go after Democrats and Antifa and all the people who fund us like Soros, right?
Yeah.
Because there was a memo sent out to U.S. attorneys to investigate the Soros Foundation. They actually allege that we're being funded to attack ICE officers, cause anarchist riots in anarchic jurisdictions, to overthrow the government. It's just bananas, but it's very serious. There's no law, there's no legal authority under which he can do any of this. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes after people. But
that hasn't
anyway,
stopped him. Yeah. So we'll see what happens here.
No, right. But at least with, deporting people to Seacoat in El Salvador, he cited the Alien Enemies Act, which again is an unlawful use of it, but that has not been litigated in the courts yet. He didn't cite any law for this because there isn't one that even comes close. So,
you're like, because there's not one.
Anyway, when he sent the National Guard, he cited a different legal authority that was also BS. So we'll find out. We'll keep an eye on it. He also signed a bunch of executive orders. He signed the American TikTok deal, basically handing control of TikTok to mega Trump donor billionaires.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, I mean, I know I don't, there's little conspiracy theories. I know I do this sometimes, but Rupert Murdoch obviously is now a major stakeholder in TikTok under this deal, has a lot of power. And I wonder if that was happening and Trump was like, absolutely not. And he's like, well, then I'm just going to release a little bit of information I have about the Epstein case. Just a little blackmail. I want in on this deal. Trump, absolutely not. Well, I'm just going to release a little more information. Fine, I'll let you in on the deal. Like, I seriously would not put it past any of these guys to tie this stuff together with the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, very. We need a tinfoil hat emoji, my friend.
I need one. Yeah, I need one. I need a tinfoil hat. I mean, at this point.
Just make one. We all have tinfoil somewhere. I haven't cooked in 17 years, but we all have some tinfoil somewhere. I make my easy home chef meals with my 5 ingredients super fast.
There you go.
Never have a need for a aluminum foil, but we all have it no matter what. So I want to let everybody know that Andy McCabe and I are going to go over this indictment Jim Comey. I can't believe they got an indictment.
Yeah, I didn't think they were going to get it, but I was wrong.
They just must not have given all the information, all the pertinent context is the only thing I can think of. But they did. They managed to secure the indictment. 2 charges. The grand jury said no on the 3rd charge. We don't even know what the 3rd charge was. But
okay,
they did charge him with false statements and obstruction of justice. So we will go over that in more detail. It's a developing story. It just broke like the minute that we hit the record button here. But we're going to be covering that in more detail on Sunday on Unjustified on that podcast. So
all right.
Stick around for that this weekend. All right, we have a lot of news to get to. Let's hit the hot notes. Hot notes. All right, first up from the Washington Post, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered hundreds of the U.S. military's generals and admirals to gather on short notice and without a stated reason at a Marine Corps base in Virginia next week, sowing confusion and alarm after the Trump administration's firing of numerous senior leaders this year. Everybody's freaked out about this, and rightfully so. The highly unusual directive was sent to virtually all of the military's top commanders worldwide, and that's according to more than a dozen people familiar. It was issued earlier this week against the backdrop of a potential government shutdown, and as Hegseth's overtly political moves have deepened a sense of distress among his opponents, who fear that he is erasing the Defense Department's status as a nonpartisan institution. You think? There's about 800 generals and admirals or so spread across the United States and dozens of other countries. And Hegseth's order, people familiar with the matter said, applies to all senior officers with the rank of brigadier general or above, or the Navy equivalent, serving in command positions and their top enlisted advisors. Typically, each of these officers oversees hundreds or thousands of rank-and-file troops. So I can only guess why he's doing this. I know Mark Hartling was on MSNBC today. I've seen clips. He seems to think this could be decapitating the military, consolidating power, getting ready to fire a bunch of these flag officers under the guise of a reorganization, you know?
All right, okay.
So, and he wants to do this. Like, I tried to look this up, like a meeting of all the generals in the Project 2025 tracker, and I didn't see anything. But we do know he wants to consolidate power in Project 2025.
Yeah.
And, get rid of basically women and people of color, but,
right.
Who he feels don't have the warrior ethos or whatever.
This is just wild. And I know me putting this out here isn't going to make it happen, but we are so vulnerable right now to an attack. Just so vulnerable. It's
that and putting all of the flag officers in the world in one building and telling everyone about it?
It's absolutely insane. Yeah, let me just round them up, let everyone know where they are. Let Putin know where we are. In fact, why don't I send this out in a group chat on my Signal?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God, moron. Okay, this next story is also from the Post. The White House is preparing federal agencies for widespread layoffs if the government shuts down next week. And it's leaving new uncertainty about what would close and what would stay open if funding runs out on October 1st. The directive has shaken the federal workforce, which has already undergone sweeping layoffs this year under the U.S. DOGE service, whatever the hell we think that was, and is now scrambling to understand who could lose their jobs as soon as Wednesday. The White House Office of Management and Budget issued a memo late Wednesday directing agencies to consider firing employees working on any program that is not funded by another law, such as Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill Act, enacted in July, and which does not align with the president's priorities. This is insane. Once government funding is reinstated after a shutdown, agencies should revise their plans to keep only the smallest number of employees necessary to legally operate. The memo also increases pressure on congressional Democrats, who have insisted that they will not support a funding extension through November 21st if Republicans do not agree to their demands on health care. However, Democratic leaders indicated Wednesday that memo does not change their calculations. And this is a quote. "This is an attempt of intimidation. Donald Trump has been firing federal workers since day one, not to govern." That's what they said, but to scare. This is from Minority Leader Schumer. He said that in a statement Wednesday and went on to say these unnecessary firings will either be overturned in court or the administration will end up hiring the workers back, just like they did as recently as today. Now, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wrote on Twitter that the administration's, and I quote, "goal is to ruin your life and punish hardworking families already struggling with Trump tariffs and inflation." What are you going to do about it?
We could do this the easy way or the hard way.
Yeah.
We know what this sounds like to me. They're dismantling the federal government. They have been putting it in a wood chipper, as Elon Musk said, since day one, this past January. It sounds to me like they want to blame the Democrats for a government shutdown and then blame the Democrats for the government being broken.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. Instead of them firing everybody, instead of it being that, they want to say, oh, no, you know what, your VA healthcare sucks because the Democrats shut down the government. And I don't think this is going to work.
Let's hope it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm hoping that as well. All right, from CNN, top congressional Republicans and White House allies are working feverishly behind the scenes to prevent a politically charged floor vote to release the government's Jeffrey Epstein case files next month. And that's according to multiple sources familiar with the discussions. While the exact strategy to avoid a vote isn't quite clear yet, some of the Republican lawmakers who have signed on are privately being pressured to withdraw their name from the petition, which would prevent the vote from taking place. That's like Lauren Boebert and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Massey.
Yeah.
And, I also wonder whether Mike Johnson will delay swearing in Adelita Grijalva, who won the special election in Arizona's 7th Congressional District Tuesday. And she's the last signature needed on the discharge petition. So I don't know if he's going to try to delay that, but they're certainly panicking.
I would put money on it.
They certainly want to continue the cover up. And everybody, you got to look at who doesn't want these to come out.
Yep.
I have to assume it's because they're in there. I just have to. And by the way, the Wall Street Journal reported today about what went on inside the White House regarding the Epstein files, the 5-alarm fire.
Yeah.
Here's a bit of an excerpt. A backlash mounted to the Justice Department's announcement that it was dropping the Epstein matter. Susie Wiles convened a series of meetings in the sit room, the situation room, to chart an Epstein strategy. Dana, the room where they do stuff like get bin Laden.
Yep.
They were talking about what to do about Epstein. Vance, Bondi, and Patel were invited, but Bongino was not.
Not in the room where it happened. Sorry, Bongino.
No, remember then they hired the Missouri U.S. attorney named Bailey to be his co-deputy director? That was funny. They're like, here, you need a babysitter, Dan. Now, Vance led the push for more disclosure, according to officials familiar with the discussion. Susie Wiles and others argued they would never be able to pacify the most rabid Epstein conspiracy theorists. Yeah, you'll never be able to remove Trump's name from adequately.
I guess I'm one of those rabid conspiracy theorists because I want the entire files unredacted.
Yeah, and this Wall Street Journal story actually said that Trump was concerned that a lot of his very rich friends would get in trouble if they released the files. Now, officials who attended this situation room Epstein emergency discussed hypothetical scenarios for releasing or not releasing certain information, trying to determine how they would affect Trump's political vulnerabilities. They focused on a key question: how could the administration better manage the Epstein saga? Just release them. Anyway, eventually, the officials decided to seek a court order to release the grand jury testimony from the investigation. A judge denied that request. So that was their big thing. When they decided, we'll go ask a judge who's going to say no and then blame it on the courts, when they made that whole plan, they made it in the situation room.
Got it.
They also decided to take up Ghislaine Maxwell's offer for an interview and that Todd Blanche should do it himself. But that didn't silence anyone. And the Epstein files aren't going away anytime soon. And by the way, Judge Beryl Howell granted our motion, the Leguminati motion, the MSW media motion.
Yep.
She granted our motion for an expedited review of my Freedom of Information Act request to get the training videos that show FBI personnel how to tag and remove Trump's name from the Epstein files. A lawsuit, by the way, I would not have been able to file without the support of our patrons. So thank you so much, everyone who's a patron of the Beans.
Absolutely.
You get these episodes ad-free, you get them early, and you helped me be able to file that lawsuit. And so we got that really great judgment. And she also said, you should file a motion for summary judgment. And so we did that this week as well.
So AG, I have a question for you. I think we have a moment here. What are you thinking are in those training videos that are going to shed light on this? Like, really educate me. What could those possibly contain that would make Trump look even worse than he does?
What I was told by someone who viewed the training videos at the FBI is that it's a step-by-step instruction of how to find Trump's name in the files, how to flag it, how to log it in your own personal Excel spreadsheet, and how to upload it to a portal so they could create a master spreadsheet of all the mentions of Donald Trump in the Epstein files.
Got it.
Now, my goal is to either get the training videos or to get the government to say you can't have them because of Rule 6E, which is them admitting that the training videos exist.
Okay, got it. Thanks, AG. All right, this one's from the Associated Press. It's some good news and then some scary news all in one. Republican Ryan Walters, Oklahoma's top public schools official and known bigot and transphobe who lauded President Trump, pledged to put a Turning Point USA chapter, that's Charlie Kirk's, in honor of him and every high school in Oklahoma and end what he called wokeness in public schools. He's resigning. He's resigning, though, to lead a conservative educators group. Okay. Walters, 40, said Wednesday night on Fox News that he is stepping down as the state superintendent of public instruction to become the CEO of something called Teacher Freedom Alliance. This is a nonprofit that says it assists educators, and I quote, in their mission to develop free, moral, and upright American citizens.
That's Nazi.
Yeah, it is. He said, we're going to destroy the teachers' union. So Walters said on Fox, we've seen the teachers union use money and power to corrupt our schools, to undermine our schools. Walters has leaned into culture war politics and sought to infuse religion into classroom instruction, including the mandate that public school teachers incorporate the Bible into lesson plans for children in grades 5 through 12. By the way, that Bible that's being used, he tried to get millions of dollars to get that funded, and they said no, and somehow those Bibles were donated. They're missing amendments, I think, 13, 12 through 22, because the Constitution's in the back of them.
Through 27. It's the Trump Bible.
Yep, it's the Trump Bible.
Lee Greenwood Bible, $70
so
Bible.
All of the things about like slavery and women's rights to vote and a president cannot run for 3 terms, all of those amendments seem to be missing from the back of this Bible that the Constitution was put into. Anyway, he's also tried to require social studies teachers to promote conspiracy theories about the 2020 election, track the immigration status of children in schools, and require applicants for teacher jobs coming from California and New York to pass an exam designed to safeguard what he described as an, I quote, radical leftist ideology. Many of his efforts have led to lawsuits, almost all of them, against him directly and the agency, even as Oklahoma's national ranking in several education metrics has continued to decline. And it wasn't doing well in the first place.
They're 50th. They're number 50.
Yeah. Can't really get much lower than that.
I know that Trump thinks we have 52 states, but no, it's only 50. They're in last place.
So your numbers can keep going down, but you're still in 50th. You're just way in 50th. Yeah. Now, just Tuesday, Walters announced that Oklahoma high schools will, as I said, have that Turning Point USA chapters. He said parents, teachers, and students, and I quote, want their young people to be engaged in a process that understands free speech, open engagement, dialogue about American greatness, a dialogue about American values. Walters, who happens to be a former teacher, was elected to the superintendent's job. He had served as Oklahoma Secretary of Education from September of 2020 to April 2023. He was appointed to that position, by the way, by Governor Kevin Stitt. Well, ever since then, we have witnessed, and this is a quote, a stream of never-ending scandal and political drama. This is true. That's from the Oklahoma Attorney General, Genter Drummond, said in a statement. He said, it's time for a state superintendent of public instruction who will actually focus on quality instruction in our public schools. Drummond, who happens to be a Republican candidate and a candidate for governor in 2026. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, he's the Republican Attorney General of Oklahoma, and he's like, you suck, we're 50th.
Yeah.
So you'll remember Ryan Walters was watching porn.
Yep.
Had porn on his TV.
I don't know how that got there.
I don't know. Hey, whoa, hey, turn this off. How'd this get on here? Oh, man. Well, at least he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm frightened about the board that he's going to be on and other boards like it.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's frightening.
He's real close with the person from Libs of TikTok, like real close.
Oh, that Ray shoot, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I've not put it to memory because she's just such a despicable human being.
Yeah, she's awful. Absolutely terrible. All right, everybody. We do have some good trouble. It's going to be up first in the good news. But before we get to the good news and the good trouble, an interview with brilliant television star from The Daily Show this week and friend of ours, John Fugelsang. Stick around. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey, everybody, it's AG. You know, I first heard about Helix through friends many years ago. And at the time, I was skeptical. I'd been through a parade of mattresses that all promised quality sleep, but never solved the problems that I faced every night. But Helix was the one that actually lived up to the hype. And it's been a real game changer for me. I love my Helix mattress. I've had it for years. And my Apple Watch was proof of what I already knew. Before my Helix mattress arrived, my sleep cycles were awful, shallow, broken. I would fall asleep, but I'd wake up repeatedly. I would never hit REM, like heavy REM sleep. And by the time morning came, I was stiff and drained and unprepared for the day, just discombobulated, and I was unable to focus. But once I switched to Helix, I started to see a difference in the data. My watch showed deeper, more consistent sleep, fewer wake-ups. The physical change was even more obvious. Instead of forcing myself out of bed in pain, like in my lower back and my hips, I began waking refreshed and energized. Helix took care of all the problems that used to keep me awake. No more overheating, no sagging spots, no tossing around from every little movement. The back pain I used to wake up with, gone. My sleep finally makes me feel restored and whole. I love it. I love sleep. Sleep is my new favorite. Years later, the mattress has held up beautifully. The comfort and support are still there. And it's been one of the best long-term decisions I've made for my health. So head to HelixSleep.com/dailybeans for 20% off site-wide. That's HelixSleep.com/dailybeans for 25% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know that we sent you. Again, that's HelixSleep.com/dailybeans. Hey, everybody. My favorite subscription service is here. I used to wander the store aisles and end up choosing wines that were safe or forgettable based on the label and nothing much else because I didn't know what was in the bottle. But Naked Wines changed all of that. They deliver curated selections from independent winemakers across the world so that you can skip the stress and enjoy better wine at home. Naked Wines is a service that directly connects you to the world's finest independent winemakers so you can get award-winning wine delivered straight to your door. So please join us in thanking Naked Wines for supporting our show by going to nakedwines.com/dailybeans. Use our code DAILYBEANS, all one word, for the code and the password, and you'll get their incredible deal of 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99. Now, each shipment feels like a small discovery. I split boxes with friends who have different preferences, and we end up both completely satisfied. The rating system is amazing. It's smart because each time we give feedback, they adjust future selections to match. Naked Wines supports independent winemakers and has done so for more than 15 years. Their direct-to-drinker model cuts out the extra retail costs so you get quality and value. That means more taste per dollar and a better selection than the typical grocery aisle. There are no required memberships or hidden fees. You can pause or change your plan anytime so you're not trapped. And for people who want interesting wines for company without the stress of guesswork or sticker shock, Naked Wines is an elegant, no-fuss answer. So now's the time to join the Naked Wines community. Head to nakedwines.com/dailybeans. Click Enter Voucher, put in the code DAILYBEANS for both the code and the password, and you'll get 6 bottles of wine for just $39.99 with shipping included. That's $100 off your first 6 bottles. That's nakedwines.com/dailybeans and use code and password DAILYBEANS for 6 bottles for $39.99. You'll be glad you did. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Friday on the Daily Beans, which means it's Fugelsang Fridays. And we have a very, very special episode of the Daily Beans Fugelsang Friday for you today because our guest, who, by the way, you can check out by listening to Tell Me Everything on Sirius XM Progress, channel 127, weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, and the John Fugelsang Show podcast, and the John Fugelsang Show Substack, and the Separation of Church and Hate. Our guest just appeared last night on The Daily Show to discuss his book, Separation of Church and Hate. He did a fantastic job. It was amazing. You can watch it now if you go see the clips of it or go watch the full interview. And I really recommend it. But please welcome John Fugelsang.
Thank you, Dr. Gill. What an honor. I'm so pleased you watched. The first time I ever did The Daily Show was to promote when I was hosting America's Funniest Home Videos. So it was a bit nicer to go back and talk about a book I wrote myself about taking on Christian nationalism. It was a lot more fun. And thank you. It was a great crowd. It was a lot of fun.
And I loved the story about your shirt and the studio at the end. And I'm not going to get any spoilers because you got to watch it. But
okay,
what a cool...
everyone's got to watch you got to watch the version they aired because there is a very cool connection to the Beatles in the Daily Show studio that nobody knew about, and I got to share some lore. So it's a nice way to end it. Yeah, they were very cool to let me talk about that.
Yeah, they were, and Remind me that host's name. It's not Jon Stewart.
That's Jordan Klepper. Jordan Klepper.
Yeah.
And Jordan's, a guy who's, he talks to Christian nationalists all the time. He's famous for interviewing these people in those great man in the street segments. And I was just glad that he liked the book. He's an atheist, and I wrote the book for atheists and believers because atheists and believers have to work together to beat back the batshit Christian nationalists. So
yeah, and that was one of the key points, right, of the interview and the book, is that this isn't just for Christians, right? This is to arm yourself with what you need to know if you aren't very familiar with the Bible or the teachings of Jesus, to talk to people in your life when they try to use his teachings as a cudgel, because they aren't actually using his teachings at all.
Correct. They reject his teachings and vote against his teachings. And the people out there, here's the irony, because irony is a religion that'll never lay you down. The people out there who are fighting the hardest for the kind of things Jesus actually talked about lean more towards the secular side, whereas the right wing that uses Jesus as a prop is legislating directly against his actual teachings and calling the people who fight for the stuff Jesus talked about woke as a slur. So this book is about, you don't need to believe in the Bible as literal fact at all to use it against these people, because they are using a very twisted, narrow, right-wing distortion of the Bible to push their ideology into every sector of our public and civic life. And we have a right to use that First Amendment to call them out and see if they really mean it. They don't care about Jesus. They don't care about Satan. They don't care about religious freedom. They care about conservative Christian power. That's their religion.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. And to have more knowledge about it and to be prepared and armed to go into those discussions, I think it's a very good tool to have, a good arrow to have in your quiver, if you will.
It's a weird book, but as I said on your show last week, and we can get off this, but as I said last week, I spent many years pitching this, and people saying there was no market for this, that no one wanted to read a book about using the Bible against right-wing Christians and Christians and atheists together. It doesn't make any sense. And now with very little mainstream media, we got 2 weeks in the Times bestseller list, and today we were number 8 on Amazon, 7 behind Kamala. I'm coming for you, Kamala. I'm coming for you.
108 days. Wait, what about 8-minute abs?
I'm right behind the Halloween paint with stickers book, and that's my nemesis. I have beaten Brown Bear, and now I'm going for Halloween stickers.
Well, congratulations on all the success
Thank
with
you,
the
Dr.
book.
Gill.
Everybody pick up your copy, Separation of Church and Hate.
Yeah, I'm so glad the rapture didn't happen. Ooh, boy,
I was
that
just
would have been
going
a
to
drag.
say, congrats to being here still.
Yeah, I got stuff to do. But again, this happens all the time, and this is one of the areas where they go after the low-hanging fruit mentally with people. This fascination with the world ending, it's pure spiritual narcissism. This pops up every couple of years. There's been about 15 of these in the past decade or so. It's all money. Rapture is a business.
You will never know the
lucrative
time,
business.
the day, nor the hour. You will never know.
Jesus told you, you dumb mofos, you're never going to know when it happens. So go out there and be a mensch and take care of the less fortunate and do good deeds. But no, some people's true religion, some people's true addiction is pretending that they're going to go behind God's velvet rope, the apocalypse, and they don't care what Jesus talked about. They really have this spiritual narcissism where God's going to come down and bring tribulations, and half the Jews will die, and the other half will be forced to convert because they love the Jews that much. And there's going to be a sword of fire and a dragon with 6 heads, and none of it has anything to do with the stuff Jesus talked about. It's all a scam. Going back to when we were kids in the late great Planet Earth by Hal Lindsey, up today through the Left Behind books, it's entertainment, folks. It's not theology. And it's as George would say, it's bullshit that's bad for you.
Yeah. And besides your interview on The Daily Show, there was another, the second highest rated television event happening this week.
I know. I go up against the right ones, don't I? Yeah.
Same night, return of Jimmy Kimmel. And I had been saying in the days leading up to his, the 2 days leading up to his return, and when we found out that Disney was going to bring him back, at least on the stations that aren't Sinclair and Nexstar, I was like, I do not envy that writer's room to have to write this monologue that's going to be watched the most.
I do.
You know what I mean? The most watched
it's awesome.
late night monologue in the history of late night.
And everyone's putting that in their resumes. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump just made careers this week. Jimmy Kimmel's going to be in the Library of Jimmy Kimmel from The Man Show is going to get a Presidential Medal of Freedom someday, and it's all because of Donald Trump. These guys, I know they destroy everything they touch, but they just saved Jimmy Kimmel's show because Brendan Carr is so thirsty to wave around a scalp. They literally had the entire thing blow up in their faces. And now all these right-wing douchebags in the media like Tucker, they've used this to start putting space between themselves and Trump because they know about Epstein and they know the prices are going up. This is the ripple effect of this screw up is going to go on and on and on and on for weeks. And I've totally cut you off, Dr. Gill. I'm sorry, but it's just an amazing story of greed and incompetence.
Yeah, and an amazing story of a triumph of free speech, at least mostly. Again, absent the Sinclair and Nexstar preempts. But the Associated Press says it got large audiences. ABC reports 6.3 million people tuned into the broadcast alone, despite the blackouts in many cities. There was a larger audience online. 15 million people watched the opening remarks on YouTube by Wednesday evening. ABC says more than 26 million people watched Kimmel's return on social media, including YouTube. Just to give you an idea, the NCAA men's Final Four, March Madness, about 15 million average viewers. World Series, 16 million. NBA Finals, 16.5 million. Oscars, about 20 million. Jimmy Kimmel, 26 million people watch that. And talk about, I think we need to change the name of the Streisand effect to the Kimmel effect because...
Oh, thank you, Trump. Thank you, Trump.
And he did, and the monologue, it was good. It was really, really good.
All the right points. And the other thing was ABC's statement never accused Kimmel's comments of being false or unkind because they weren't. The greatest sign of how sloppy these guys are, as your listeners know, Brendan Carr is Project 2025 guy. This has been part of the playbook the entire time, except Brendan Carr is a child with no game. Was that guy like 46 years old and he looks like my dad? The deal with this was that, Kimmel just said MAGA spent the whole weekend trying to desperately deny that this kid was one of theirs, which was true. And trying to blame anybody else, which was true. Two factual statements that were not mocking Charlie Kirk or the violence. They were not comments about Charlie Kirk or the actual murder. It was commenting about how they responded, and it was all set up for a joke about Donald Trump's callous disregard for Charlie Kirk with the whole ballroom comment. So what Brendan Carr did was he was too thirsty. This guy could have done this the old-fashioned way and put the screws not on camera. He could have had his government coercive bribe it was an abuse of power to coerce self-censorship is what it was, which is what they've been doing. He could have done this privately. He could have said, you tell Kimmel, you're going to scale it back. Your ratings are bad with the demo. We're going to cut your budget. Like, they could have done this gradually, but these guys are so stupid and so thirsty, and they're all in the dude bro social media algorithm rotting male brains mentality of owning the libs and winning something, that he goes and does it on Benny Johnson's zombie show. And as a consequence, he jumps on the first thing he can get. And it wound up being a completely innocent statement that these people were too frothing after this murder to pay attention to. On Monday, I was on Piers Morgan's show with this whole panel of people, and I'm like, look at the words. Where's the joke about Kirk? Where's making mockery of his death? Where's the lie? They didn't even wait to get him on a real reason, Allison, and that's why this blew up in their face. They are too thirsty and too sloppy. They're the gang that couldn't smear straight.
And Kimmel explained it. Explained what we knew all along. He said, I wasn't trying to say that the shooter was MAGA. I was trying to say the opposite. Right. And that is the way that I read it. In fact, when I heard the comment, that's how I took it. I took it to mean they want to blame anybody but.
Same.
Which is exactly what he said. It was clear as day. And it never occurred to me until a bunch of people started defending his comments, saying that he wasn't saying the shooter was MAGA. I was like, who is saying he said the shooter was MAGA?
Never said it. They lied.
He never said that. He was trying to say that they're spinning it to be anybody but. And he said it with words. And not big, confusing words, just words.
But it gets so much better than that, because all the MAGAs were denying that this was the government doing this. It was a private corporation, and the American people voted for this man, and they recognized that consumers don't want this garbage on our air, blah, 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 blah. And then Kimmel gets his job back, and Trump reveals, no, it was me all along. Trump reveals that he was scheming to get him fired. He's still going to try to get him fired. He's so mad he wasn't really fired. Like, literally, this guy had an out, and he's just making himself smaller. And the real best part of all of this is that you can make the argument this is Monday Night Football giving MAGA the middle finger, because they're like, fine, Sinclair, fine, Nexstar, you don't want to carry this? You don't get Monday Night Football. No. And to see Disney standing up against these bullies, to see the studio that makes the content standing up against these right-wing media conglomerates that distribute the content and act like they're running the... Sinclair's the reason I got fired from Page 6 TV because they didn't like my Donald Trump jokes. Like, we know what these people are, and they control minds. We've seen the video of all the Sinclair news anchors reading the same choreographed message in programmed robotic unison. These are not good guys. They're revoltingly fake Christians. They don't push for anything Jesus talked about. They just want conservative Christian control of the world. And ABC and Disney and Monday Night Football just told them to piss off. That's even bigger than Kimmel having a great monologue. The fact that now we got corporations showing us how to stand up to these guys. Donald Trump's whole game is going after you with lawsuits, and that's why he's going to try and bankrupt James Comey. He knows that he has no case against James Comey. He doesn't care. That's what he's doing with Tish James. He can burn money. He's a crypto fraud. He's making all these billions now off the office because Congress doesn't believe in the emoluments clause anymore. So he can burn money in court, and you can't. And that's what he's going to try to do. And we're seeing more and more courts stand up. And I'm thrilled seeing Harvard stand up when Columbia buckled, and I am delighted seeing Disney and ABC stand up when Paramount and CBS went a very convenient route to cash in. Bob Iger didn't want this. He was looking at the stock price. He wants a merge. But when Michael Eisner is calling you out, and Michael Eisner's the voice of morality and reason, Iger did not want to have censorship in the first paragraph of his obituary. So I said on the air last week on my SiriusXM show, this guy's going to spend the entire weekend negotiating with Nexstar and having the Kimmel staff write their thing. I knew he'd smooth it out. I knew Kimmel would come back. I didn't think that ABC would be this brazen. And look what a loser Trump looks like after this week. You think they're ever going to talk about Tylenol and autism again? That was just the programming for that day. This guy is so fraudulent. And some of the right-wingers are more and more turning on him every day.
Yeah, they are. And you're right. Kimmel brought that up in his monologue, too. Said the content of this isn't important. Whether I'm funny is not important. What's important is that the FCC jawboned someone to pull somebody off the air because of disfavored speech. And that's as recently as last year, the Supreme Court says that that's illegal and unconstitutional.
You know, when is Pam Bondi going to get disbarred, man? I'm ready for that to happen while she's in the job. I'm ready for all of it.
Well, with some of the Department of Justice people retweeting and reposting some stuff about Luigi Mangione being guilty, the judge actually said you could face sanctions, you could face personal disbarment, you could face a lot of problems if you try to argue these points in court, or if you don't stop this kind of extrajudicial statements that, as a rule in our local court here in New York, prevents Luigi Mangione from getting a fair trial.
I mean, have we ever had an attorney general where a 9-0 Supreme Court had to force them to follow the law? I mean, on Kilmar Abrego Garcia alone, they should all be impeached and disbarred. You know, it's like when Ken Burns makes his movie about Donald Trump's presidency, Allison, it's going to be 700 hours long.
I know. I know. Or you could just go back and listen to all of our shows together. It's all there. We've got it all for history's sake. One last thing I wanted to talk to you about. You brought it up shortly, briefly there.
Oh, my book? Can I talk more about that?
We'll talk about that in a second.
No, we're done.
We'll end on that. But
we're done with that. Go on.
The Jim Comey indictment. There's 4 days now from when this airs to get a grand jury to indict. But there was a memo written by the prosecutors and investigators that was given to the new U.S. attorney, Trump-installed U.S. attorney Lindsay Halligan, insurance lawyer extraordinaire.
Billable hours. I would do it. They're just they're bleeding this guy. But go on.
A declination to prosecute because there wasn't probable cause for Jim Comey. Yeah. A memo like that is a case killer. We have seen a memo like this in recent years. Bill Barr wrote a memo and had his office legal counsel write a memo saying that they couldn't prosecute Donald Trump for obstruction of justice in the Mueller investigation, the entire volume 2, those 10 instances of shiny,
gift wrap for Democrats who are going to impeach anyway, but I dropped that.
But Bill Barr wrote a memo saying the DOJ is declining to prosecute. There's not enough there.
Thank God for those obedient Democrats.
Well, that memo is what stops the Democrats from taking this case and presenting it to a grand jury.
Right.
Just like this memo. That's not going to stop from trying. but it will kill the case, just like that Barr memo would have killed an obstruction case, which is why the case was never brought.
But again, he'll just find another reason to persecute the man. Trump doesn't need probable cause. Trump doesn't even need possible cause. He just wants he needs a grudge and a lawyer willing to humiliate themselves. That's all it's for.
Yeah, no, of course. Of course. This isn't about winning. It's never about winning. It's, hey, I just need you to say that there's, election malfeasance in Georgia and let the Republicans and I do the rest. Hey, Zelensky, I just need you to say there's an investigation into the Bidens. You don't actually have to do anything. I just need you to announce it. That's all it was.
That's right. And again, bribing a foreign leader to make an announcement about an investigation on American TV. There was never going to be an investigation. He wanted an announcement about an investigation on American TV. That's what that whole thing was about. I mean, and that's what he does. It's all about getting people to lie for him. Mm-hmm. And when you don't lie for him, he will punish you publicly. That was when he first mocked Serge Kobylewski, the disabled reporter, because Serge wouldn't back up the lie about the Muslims dancing on 9/11 in Jersey City. It's all about this guy who's been rich enough his whole life to be able to own people in his circle and get them to say whatever he wants. But this is a guy who confessed to crimes on live TV, who seems to have accidentally written a private DM in public to Pam Bondi the other day, and he has 34 felony convictions trying to throw Comey in jail. It's like O.J. Simpson trying to prosecute people for traffic violations. Allison, lock him up because daddy said so. And it's not going to happen. He's just going to keep on doing it. And then he will throw something else up to distract us. And that'll be forgotten in 2 days like the Tylenol will be.
Yeah. And just to be clear, you can, and Bolton too, by the way, they're trying to go after Bolton for classified information.
Oh, that breaks my heart too. What a poor guy. What a good man.
And I do want to say though, you can hate Bolton and you can hate Comey.
I don't hate anybody.
And still decry the weaponization of the Justice Department against
listen,
them.
I think John Bolton should not be harassed by government in his cell in The Hague. That's how I feel about it.
Right. Not for this.
Not
for least.
This, no.
But yeah, to say that he's breaking the law because he's got some 2-decade-old classified documents in his house, which, by the way, he gave back probably when they asked for him. I doubt that there was a subpoena that he defied. I doubt that he drained his pool to flood his video server room to get rid of evidence of him trying to retain these particular documents. I doubt that the National Archives spent 18 months trying to get them back from him to no avail.
Exactly. It's like Charlie Sheen staging your intervention. What the hell, dude? No, you don't get to do this. Not to me.
Oh, wonderful. I'm going to use that. I'm stealing that.
All right.
This is a Charlie Sheen intervention. All right. Anybody, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gill. Can I just take a minute to thank your audience as well? Because I've gotten so many wonderful comments from people who love this book and have bought this book. And I'm so grateful to you, Allison, in a world of corporate media that's terrified of saying facts because it might cost half a ratings point in Iowa. I'm so grateful that you have been a place that has let me talk about what the Bible really says and Christian nationalism and using scripture to take down these frauds. And it's been such an honor to do this for you and your audience. And I'm so grateful to you and your audience for the success of this book. It's really, we're out there. Whether the mainstream media acknowledges we're out there or not, progressive media is a strong infrastructure, and there's more of us than there are of them. And they're counting on us being disconnected and divided. And so I'm so grateful to you. Thank you.
I'm just glad you're here today. I thought you'd probably be like, oh, he's too big now to come on the Daily Beans. He's on the Daily Show.
Tonight we're doing an event at the 92nd Street Y with Cristela Alonzo, one of my favorite comedians. Her Netflix special dropped this week, and she's flying out to host my big event, and it's going to be our first big book launch. By the time this airs, that'll be done, but you can see it if you want to pick up the live stream at 92ny.org, and hopefully coming soon to a town near you. But I would never miss your show, Dr. Gill. What are you, nuts?
Well, if you come to San Diego for a book talk and you need a host, you let me know.
I hope to. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Make sure you check out Tell Me Everything on Sirius XM Progress, channel 127. You know it's weeknights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific. You can also check out the Fugelstack.
Right on.
Which is what the Fugelsang Substack should be called.
That's right.
You could also check out the Tell Me Everything podcast if you don't get serious. And make sure you pick up a copy of The Separation of Church and Hate. New York Times bestseller. Congratulations, my friend.
We didn't even get to talk about Kash Patel writing anti-ice on bullet casings. There's just never enough time, Dr. Gill. There's never enough time.
There's never enough time in the
I'm
day.
so anti-ice, I'm going to murder the people they kidnapped. Oh, this FBI. J. Edgar Hoover in a dress is in hell embarrassed of what's happened to the dignity of the Bureau. That's all I can say.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much, my friend. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Everybody stick around. We'll be right back with the good news. Hey, everybody. Fall is planting season, and here's a little secret. Many plants and trees actually thrive when planted now. My secret of plant success is using fastgrowingtrees.com. Whether you're in the sunny south or dealing with an autumn chill, their plant experts help you find the perfect match for your yard. They have everything from fruit trees and privacy hedges to flowering shrubs and more. Ordering is a breeze, too. No more wasting half a Saturday driving to nurseries, fighting crowds, and leaving empty-handed because the plant you wanted was sold out, or getting a bunch of dirt in the back of your car. With fast-growing trees, I ordered online, and just a couple days later, I got all my fruit trees, my guacamole garden, my hydrangeas arrived right at my door, perfectly packed, ready to thrive. What impressed me the most was how healthy everything looked, coming right out of the box. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee gave me peace of mind, and these plants are grown in the U.S., so they're already acclimated. I save hundreds compared to what landscapers quoted me, and I didn't even have to leave my house. They even include clear care instructions, which made me feel like I could handle this on my own. With their 14-point quality checklist and expert advice, it's never been easier to create a beautiful yard without the hassle. So this fall, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show, you get 15% off your first purchase when using the code DailyBeans at checkout. That is 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com and use the code DailyBeans at checkout. Now is the perfect time to plant. Use Daily Beans to save today. Our offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Check out the link below or in the show notes and support the show. All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for the good news.
It's good news, everyone. Then good news, everyone.
Good news. And if you have any little bit of good news, big or small, it could be from yesterday or 20 years ago, send it to us. We need to hear your good news stories. You can also send a shout out to a loved one or yourself. We love self shout outs, maybe a small business in your area or a nonprofit that you love that you want people to know about and the good work that they're doing. You can also give a shout out to a government program that's helped you or a loved one. We'd love to hear about that. And of course, if you want to get your stuff right on the air, all you have to do is pay your pod pet tariff, which means just attach a photo of anything, really. It can be your pet. And we can try to guess the breeds in your shelter pup if you want. We're very bad at it, but we've been pretty good lately. We're on a good streak. If you don't have a pet, you can send an adoptable pet in your area. If you don't have that, just grab a random photo of an animal off the internet. We do not care. It's like the We Do Not Care Club. We do not care if you don't have a pet.
We do not care if there's laundry on the couch. Just move it over or fold it. We do not care.
Yes. Here are the things we do not care about this week.
I love her so much.
She's so fantastic. I'm glad she's getting the attention she deserves because she's brilliant.
Yeah.
The We Do Not Care Club. Check it out on social media. But you can also send photos of some you've been to a rally, you have got some favorite signs that you've seen at a protest, photos of you and your friends text banking or writing postcards or making signs. Sign making parties are fun. Photos of your garden or what you're crocheting or knitting or painting or writing, anything you're making or creating to pass the time between now and, 2029. Anything at all, just send it to us, dailybeanspod.com. Click on contact. We're also accepting bird watching photos, which means actual birds or you flipping the bird to Trump or Elon Musk or whoever you feel deserves it. All right. So I want to give just a quick update on the indictment from Hugo Lowell here. The indictment alleges that Comey obstructed a congressional investigation. That's 18 U.S. Code 1505. And it also alleges that Comey made a false statement in violation of 18 U.S. Code Title 1001. Section 1001, Title 18. Comey stated that he did not authorize someone at the FBI to be an anonymous source. That's according to the indictment, that statement was false. So that's interesting It'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out.
Yeah.
But that's a little bit of detail that we have. Again, tune into Unjustified this Sunday. All right, let's kick off the good news with our good trouble. Today's good trouble comes from Jenny Lou. Hello, fellow resistors. For some good trouble, I have taken to using Post-it notes that read October 18th, nokings.org, and I leave them on shelves when I'm doing my shopping, trying to spread the word or evoke curiosity to help propel the movement. Maybe others might join in the effort. My pod pet tariff here is Trixie. My mother moved in with me a couple of years ago and brought this little thing. She has some unique habits and tendencies, but she's loved. And if you haven't guessed yet, she's a labradoodle. Remember, we don't have to wake everyone up, just enough of them. With truth and hope, I'll be in Chicago on the 18th with my double-sided protest sign. Punk rock informs the revolution. Peace. And I love this good trouble because if you put the Post-it notes at the store when you're shopping, especially on stuff where prices are ridiculous, like orange juice now is like $17 or something.
What?
You can just put, we wanted to buy a big old jug of orange juice and it was $1 zillion.
Oh my God.
Put the Post-it right there. Look at this. Look at this sign. Transcend the mass hysteria. We are the new America. Bad religion. And we're sick of your treason, sick of your lies. Fuck no, we won't listen. We're going to open your eyes. And that's from
Nice.
Pennywise. Fuck authority. Yes, punk rock.
That is
amazing.
a very happy pup right there.
Look at the dog. So cute. Thank you so much for that good trouble.
All right. This is from Nick, pronouncing him. Dear queens of the bean age, fellow legumineers. Good morning, gang. I'm so grateful to be able to wake up to your cursing, your care for people, and your emotionally available takes on the shitstorm swirling around us at any given moment on this timeline. Thank you for being better. Thank you for being best. Giggle. I'm writing about some good news that is way forking important to me. I used forking because my 3-year-old has been dancing around dinner times lately saying the real thing, and while hilarious, I gotta look inward at the way I'm facing the world and try to phase myself off that vocabulary for just a little while. I think you two can helm that ship for now. Today, I'm shouting out my wife, Caroline, who deserves daily shout-outs just for being badass, loving, superhuman of mother and partner. The work she does, however, it's why we're all here today. You know that old history guy, Frederick Douglass? How about his wife, Anne Murray Douglass? If yes, great. Caroline launched hashtag Douglass Week back in 2021. We're living in Cork, Ireland for her PhD work on the intersectionality of American slavery narratives and the cultural trajectories of modern media.
Oh my gosh, that's a great subject.
It is. While her supervisors all but demanded she turn her manuscript into a sellable text, she opted to climb down from the ivory tower to bring the light and love, hard to find as it may be, research about American slavery to people who might not otherwise have cause to know about our history. With her partner, Caroline has poured herself completely into this project for the past 5 years to build Douglass Week from the ground up. I've personally attended many in-person and virtual events throughout the years and found myself to have been really moved by the people leading and participating in every city and every country. So, if you live in or are planning to travel to Boston, September 28th through October 4th, make a plan to attend one of their in-person events. Now, if you don't live in Boston, attend a virtual event or sign up for the newsletter and follow them on social media. And it is douglassweek.org. Douglass with 2 S's, douglassweek.org. Thanks for everything you do in the front of the mic and to your team behind the scenes. For my pet tariff, my pod pet tariff, I've included some photos of Jupiter, our now nearly 7-year-old snuggly wiggly beeper.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, he's so cute.
Oh, there's stars. We can guess. Sharpei Dachshund Bloodhound?
I have no guesses because I don't want to take away from that.
It's just a Vizsla.
Oh my God.
It's a purebred Vizsla.
That's hysterical.
I'm all Sharpei Dachshund Bloodhound? Oh my God. Okay, I was very wrong on that. Anyway, thank you for that. That's douglassweek.org.
Is it a Shardoxahound? Is it a Shardoxahound?
All right, our next good news comes from my friend in my text messages. The Comey criminal case has been assigned to Judge Michael Nachmanoff, an appointee of Joe Biden. So that's funny. Okay. Just kidding. That's not the real next good news. The real next good news comes from Chico from Arlington. Small town America says hello. This is the kind of America I want to live in. Shout out to Arlington Ma Town Day 2025. We'll have a YouTube link in the show notes for you. By the way, I love your news with swearing. I enjoy your company on my daily walk as I attempt to stay healthy despite it all. You got to stay healthy, Chico from Arlington. And appreciate the small town.
That was so short. You want to do the next one?
Sure. This is from Arcane, pronouns she and her. Hello, lovely ladies of the legumes and all the beanerific staff. I have to give a huge shout out to my dear friend Maggie. Here in Michigan, even though gender-affirming care remains legal for all ages, most of the major health systems have chosen to bow out and bow to political pressure and stop providing puberty blockers and hormone therapy for anyone 19 years old and younger. We've also had bills introduced in the state house which could ban gender-affirming care for minors. Over the past 2 weeks, Maggie went to work and pulled together a coalition from across the state for a public die-in on the rotunda of the Capitol building today, Thursday. Along with a die-in, we had chanting and speakers, followed by additional speakers and even a bagpipe player outside. And after all this, Maggie and two tireless friends dropped off literature at the offices of every member of both the House and the Senate. So shout out to Maggie. Indy Next Gen, the indivisible group in Muskegon, Michigan that she co-founded, and all the people who showed up at the die-in to make sure that our legislators know that trans rights are human rights. You kicked some ass today and gave the school group touring the Capitol something to talk about when they got home. For my pod pet tariff, I've attached photos of my orange boy, BOI boy, Owen, who was asleep with his head and front paws in my current knitting bag, and very disgruntled when I needed to take it back from him. Look at
Oh, goodness.
He's asleep.
Oh, my God.
Oh, there he is, disgruntled.
He is not happy.
Thank you for that so much.
All right, this is from Beth, pronouns she and her. Dear Beans Queens, I've been a U.S. expat in the EU for 22 years. Let's be real. Expat just means immigrant from an acceptable background. Well said. My EU husband and I have tried to raise our dual citizen bilingual kids to be socially aware and politically active. They attend local public schools, not private institutional schools. No shade, by the way, to the institutional schools. Oh, sorry, international schools. Excuse me. No shade to the international schools. If I may, I'd like to give a huge shout out to our brilliant, like a diamond daughter. My darling 10th grader is spending a semester as an exchange student in the USA, living with her grandparents. This kid, who has never had a U.S. social studies or history class, decided to take a senior level AP government and politics class, and she's killing it. Not only does she have excellent grades, she's been able to keep up on nuanced debates and conversations on the ins and outs of U.S. politics. A lot of that is due to listening to podcasts like The Daily Beans. You are such a part of our day that her little brother always sings your theme song when the podcast starts. Extra, let's hear it for the boy for engaging in our dinner table political discussions. Good luck to him in his first ice hockey game of the season, a long drive away in Rostock, Germany. As tax, here's a photo of my dad, my sisters, and me in 1982. In the same town my daughter is in right now, attending the same high school we went to, the same high school her grandma taught at for over 30 years.
Wow.
Yep, there's technically a baby in the photo, so it counts, right? I've sent a photo of our long-haired Chihuahua Pablo and our guinea pigs Chocolate and Agent Jack Bauer, codename Yukon, if I could have gotten them all to look at the camera at the same time. Cheers from a member of the Piece de Resistance Diaspora. Diaspora.
Look at this.
This is such a great photo.
That is totally 1982.
Oh, the pipe in the mouth is so good, too.
That's me in the pink overalls right there.
That's awesome.
I had that same bike, but mine was a Pink Panther themed bike. And it had a banana seat and a big flag on the back. I
love it.
I was a baller on that bike in my neighborhood. Oh, God. Yeah, and the pipe and the baby. That's an incredible legacy at that school for so long. Everybody, thank you so much for your good news. Really needed it today. And a great way to cap off the week. Again, check out Fugelsang on The Daily Show if you get a chance. And thanks to my friend for being here with us today. I thought for sure, Dana, because he's so famous now after going on The Daily Show and being a New York Times bestselling author, that he'd be like, sorry, Beans. But no. He came and
he would miss us too much.
He would. He definitely would. And we would miss his hair and him.
Yeah, he's got good
mostly
hair.
His hair. Yeah. I'll tell him I said that, just so you know I'm not talking behind his back. All right, everybody. We are going to be back in your ears on Monday. It's going to be a heck of a weekend, so make sure you get some rest. Check out Unjustified on Sunday. Andy and I'll go over what's going on with the Comey case in more detail. And I just really hope everybody gets a chance to relax a little bit and do something for yourself this weekend. Do you have any final thoughts?
I have a little teaser if you're still listening. Chicago, Illinois. Mark your calendar for November 14th. It's a Friday night. That's all I'm saying. It's just going to be a small theater. We have not even announced the show. Tickets have not gone on sale. You are the first ones to hear about it. It's another 100-seat theater. I'm enjoying these small shows, these intimate settings. So mark your calendar, Friday night in Chicago. Keep an eye on my website and you will hear about it first on the Daily Beans.
November 14th, everybody. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you on Monday. Until then, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the planet, take care of your mental health, and take care of your family. I've been AG.
I've been DG.
And them's the Beans.
The Daily Beans is written and executive produced by Allison Gill with additional research and reporting by Dana Goldberg. Sound design and editing is by Desiree McFarlane, with art and web design by Joelle Reeder with Moxie Design Studios. Music for The Daily Beans is written and performed by They Might Be Giants, and the show is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, please visit mswmedia.com.
MSW Media.